Welcome to the next episode of the CAPB podcast. Today we have the incredible fitness coach and all-round social media enigma that is Dean Hammond. Welcome, Dean.
Oh, fucking hell. You started it so fucking badly as well, mate. So badly. Social media enigma.
That's
and
what you, mate. That's
human.
what I put down. That's what I put it down to you, mate. I think.
Oh, fuck's sake. Right. Anybody listening to this, I can tell you right now, it's all downhill from here. It's all fucking downhill.
Mate, I say this before. All three of our listeners will not be interested, mate. I'm not going to lie to you, mate. So
I like it. We'll take that.
Mate, you're still serving at the moment. Coming to 20 years in the PT Corps.
Not 20 years in the 20 years in the army. Fucking hell, 20 years in the PT Corps. I think my airline would still be, it'd be back here somewhere. But no, 20 nearly 20 years serving. Yeah,
commendable, mate. Absolutely commendable. Thank you for giving up the time coming on, mate.
Mate, my pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I'm always up for a bit of a chat. I'm a bit of a socialite, so it's all good for me.
So yeah, over to you, Paul.
Yeah, so Dean, so like 20 years is quite a span. If your military service was like a movie trailer, what would it look like?
Oh my fucking God. What would my... Now we're talking. I'm trying to think of a film that looks like a car crash. I'm trying to think of the best film that looks like a car crash. I have no idea. I'd say Mission Impossible, but it doesn't look that good because he makes it look fucking great, and it's not that. I honestly couldn't tell you. Probably, in fact, let's go with like Happy Gilmore. There you go. Probably a Happy Gilmore. Lots of fucking smashing, grabbing, going. No idea what we're fucking doing. The wrong place at the wrong time, but somehow we're here today. So yeah, no idea.
Mate, I love it.
No idea.
Mate, for 20 years, what have been your highlights? What have been the highlights of that? So that's a decent career, and obviously you served in the QRH prior to the PT Corps. Yeah. What are the bits that stick out, mate?
Like probably with most people that you speak to, all the operational tours I've had. So I've done Iraq twice, Afghan once. And yeah, like with most, mate, they're massive, massive things that have always stuck and reigned true for me. You always know, don't you? Anybody you speak to about those type of situations you've been in. But I've got friends that have done things in front of my eyes that I never thought I'd ever see from another human being. And I've had people do things that have helped me. But I'd say career highlights of that. Living in Germany was a massive career highlight for me. And then I've probably got one thing that not many people have experienced. My very first operational tour, literally fresh-faced, red-ass, nig in Germany, as you do, turned up at the gates. My dad was a staff sergeant, which we would call in the QRH a sergeant major when I first joined the military, first joined QRH. But all of the family knew who I was because my dad was serving. So all of the old and bold, your Ian Jollies knew who I was. You know, the old sweats kind of had a bit of an understanding of the type of character I was. Some kid with ADHD, you give him a blue Smartie and he's fucked. Like that type of character. And I worked in the officers' mess before as well. So I used to do all the messing for them and make their bacon sandwiches. And if they were twats, I'd spit in the bacon sandwich and rub it on my arse or something. You know what I'm saying? So I'd already lived that. So I joined the regiment. My mum was the welfare lady. And like she did all the welfare officer clerk stuff. So she was exactly like me. And I'd like to think I've got some good traits, although some people may say differently. But she was a very human-centric person. She'd rip off the last T-shirt that was on her back and give it to anybody that's in need. And because my dad was quite, doing really, really well in the regiment, at this point as a sergeant major, he'd been in 15, 20 years. Everybody knew who they were and who my mum was. So I turned up at the gates. And yeah, first operational tour, I was my dad's. Do you remember when, in fact, you would have absolutely remembered. You remember we used to go and do MIT integration out in Iraq? We used to send the MIT teams out, didn't they? So my dad was he became the regimental sergeant major. He was a squadron sergeant major. Then he became the regimental sergeant major. And yes, I had to call the fucking prick, sir. And he's never let me live that down. I used to avoid him in camp, mate, because he'd come over to the smoking area whilst we're all bining on fucking Lambert and Butlers because they were €2 a fucking packet. And he'd run over. I'd be like, fuck. And I'm running into the toilet quickly so I don't have to brace up and call my dad, sir. I was like, you fucking prick. But yeah, I was his I was part of his sort of close protection MIT integration team on our first tour. So bless my mum's cotton socks. She's at home with my younger brother shitting kittens while me and my dad are playing war heroes over in fucking Iraq, which definitely wasn't. It was more like a scene out of War Dogs, mate, with those fuckers in Iraq, mate, looking after the Iraqi army. I can't remember what brigade we were in, but we were posted
What telic was it, Dean?
That was Telic 12, 13, I think 13. Telic 13. So it was, when just before they started the drawdown.
Yeah, so
before they started the drawdown, yeah.
Yeah, I was on Telic.
You were 12, mate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was 2, 9, and 12, and then Herrick 14. So yeah, 12. Yeah, so you would have.
Telic 12 was it? Yeah. So when I got to the unit, everyone, all the whole regiment was on Telic 8. And obviously me straight into MT, got me fucking driving license. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go and get myself forklifts. I'm going to try and get a motorbike license. I'm going to try and get a DAF. I'm like, give me the fucking licenses. I was like, yes, I can get a Land Rover. All excited. So obviously everyone's out on Telic 8, came back, big parade, big rigmarole. But the first tour I went on was with my old boy. So Telic 13, I think I was out on with him. I was his close protection, sat in a Humvee. I've got an amazing photo of me and my dad with some of the Iraqi soldiers. And we were in the Sixth Sense, if you remember the newspaper.
Yeah.
We're in the newspaper for father and son, and we've both got like fists against each other's jaws in this photo. Cringy and cheesy as you fucking get. But yeah, that's probably one of my most memorable experiences. But there's so many, mate. There's so many. I've done so many sports tours. I've been really fortunate to go to Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been around some amazing people. I've traveled around the world. It would be hard to just pin it down to one thing. I know so many people that have joined the military or leave, they've got a bit of a bee in their bonnet. But for me, mate, I've just had a fucking good time. Literally like Happy Gilmore, mate. I've just shown up, had a fucking great time, done what I've needed to do. And, thankfully, in touch wood, somehow I'm still here. So I don't know.
Mate, I love it, mate. And I love deploying with your dad and you saying your mum being at home. As I say, we've mentioned it before. Between Telic 11 and Telic 12, I was Telic 11, Paul was Telic 12. We were in theatre at the same time for about 6 weeks. And we would meet up for coffee. Like Paul was doing his RSY and did handover and I was like clearing out. But obviously at that time, and it was like the camp was getting mortared quite a lot. So the phalanx would go off, the alarms would go off. And Paul and I were like in the Effie, drinking coffee, playing chess during a rocket attack, and we were both under the table at this point, right, with our coffees. Paul brings a chessboard down, and it's one of those things where we laugh about it all the time, right? But it's like we weren't thinking about what people would think of it at home. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you're right. Like the parents and stuff. Like while we're both on tour, it must have been mad. But that's it.
Imagine what your parents and your mum and that are going through. Like I can imagine it now. We had the same thing. Like that phalanx used to scare the living shit out of me because we weren't based at the Cobb.
Yeah.
We were based out of some absolute shithole that had an empty fucking sewer running through the camp. And lo and behold, they thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let's put 24 British squaddies who are whinging twats anyway right outside the front of the empty fucking sewer. They can live there. Great idea.
You got Purey tabs, mate? To be fine, mate. Sprinkle.
Mate, that didn't work. Honestly, I tell you, mate, for about 7 months after that tour, I don't think I grew any nasal hair. That's how bad it was. It was rough. But you do, like, you get mortared and you sat there on the fucking floor and you grab your, I don't know, I think we used to have, like, the paper plates full of food. We used to sit on grab the food off the top of the table. Fuck it, I'm just going to keep eating underneath here. Like it was a normal thing.
Yeah, that
you
is
try and
mad.
explain that to somebody and they look at you and go, you were getting bombed and you were still having your fucking cereal. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't fucking wasting food. You having a laugh.
We were the same, mate. When we went under that table and like, well, I still had a coffee and we were looking at each other and Paul sort of reached up and brought the chessboard down and you could see other people, mate. Paul had deployed a number of times. I'd deployed a number of times. There was people on there who were literally like, oh God. And we're like,
mate, I never forget that first tour. It was they're brilliant. They're really good, aren't they? But you laugh about it now. And I remember before I was petrified because the first time I've obviously never been out on tour, but knowing that Ian Jolly and some of my closest mates, like the likes of Kingy, David King, Ian Jolly, those two together, they were in a massive Land Rover attack.
Yeah.
Which you've probably seen, it got bombed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had them stories from the boys that lived Telic 8. So my mum sat there. She knows it all as well. I'm going out there with my dad. She got a photo of me just before I left the house, and I'm like this. miserable, sat in desert kit with those horrible smock jackets that used to have the roll up, roll up hoods, and they didn't bring that band in at the time, but they then put them metal wires in, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, mate. And I was going out there thinking, fucking hell, I'm going to get bombed in a fucking snatch Land Rover. I was like, I don't want a fucking snatch. Luckily, it was a Mastiff, which wasn't too bad, but still, it was fucking petrifying.
It's mad, mate. And it's like, we have, as I say, this is the 41st episode of the podcast. We've had loads of people on. And like most who have deployed are like, they're the highlights. But what is mad is we're currently at a generation where, I say, my two eldest sons are serving. And I'm very proud of them. They're doing a great job in their... One's Remy, one's Royal Welsh. They're having a great time, mate. Would I feel the same if they were on the up cycle like we were? Maybe not so much, mate. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now I'm like, do your venture training, go and play rugby in Cyprus, have a great time, boys.
Yeah.
Whereas if they were deployed, it would be fucking...
Well, we joined at a time when it was already kicking off anyway. You know, go back to September 11, 2001, when everything kicked off and started real. We're 5, 6, 7 years into the campaign when I joined, and everyone came back and they were completely fucking different people. So I can't even bear. I've got 2 daughters, mate. If my daughters step anywhere near the military, I'm like, I'm locking them downstairs, mate. They're not going out. I'm telling you. I'll build a basement in the cellar, mate, and they'll just live in there like Fruit Loops. I wouldn't let them do it. But that's only because of the threat that we know.
It's the reality, isn't it?
It's a genuine threat, and it's the thing we try and get across, right? To a lot of that, you've probably bred your kids to be, somewhat resilient. But the group of people that are coming through, I still feel like they're living under a little bit of a rock. They're blindsided by what actually might happen, because it's so rare to find anyone that's got operational experience, because all the blokes have left because they're like, fucking hell, we're never going to do this again. I'm fucking done.
All they've timed out, mate. All they've timed out. Do you know what I mean? Because
all timed out. Yeah. It was really, really rare now to find a sergeant major that's got an Iraq gong, an Afghan gong, and they've done a little bit of something. You know what I mean? And that's I'm not saying that's bad or good, but what I am saying is that experience that the boys have had, it stands for a lot when you're going into a leadership position and you're looking after fucking younger blokes. And you can actually empower people to, not be wet behind the ears a little bit more and dig it in. And hopefully, I'd like to think that's the type of charisma and character and leadership traits that I bring in my job, mate, when I'm doing what I do. At the Engineers, mate, I F and blind. I say some of the weirdest analogies in the world, and people go to me, "Oh, you really shouldn't have said that." I've had service complaints about me, but do you know what? I've always had people back me up, because actually it's for a good cause when we're trying to push people beyond where they actually are. I feel like, that old school mentality, I feel like it needs to breed back into what we need, because that's kind of the reality of where we are, right?
Mate, yeah, definitely, mate, defo. Right, military career aside, which is still going, you are an online coach, you're an in-person coach, and you are the founder of the Catalyst Project.
Yeah.
What is that, mate?
So we are a online performance coaching group and a coaching team. It used to be just me, but as with anything, it needs to evolve. It needs to build. It needs to go into the next chapter. So sort of over the past 12 years, I've really fixed everything about, well, to be fair, longer than that, mate. I remember I used to take boot camps over in Germany. And that was kind of part of it. It wasn't the Catalyst Project then, but it was the start of I'm not even going to say entrepreneurial journey, mate, because I'm not a fucking entrepreneur. And any online coach that calls themselves an entrepreneur is a gimp in my eyes, to be quite honest with you, because there's no overheads. It's so easy to become an online coach, mate. Like, let's be fucking honest. It's so easy to become an online. You can jump online, put a little label on it. You've done a 6-week course. You're not an entrepreneur. You're just a personal trainer that's taking some online stuff. Like, an entrepreneur's got overheads, they've got a lot of risk and a lot of investment, and you search the term. So I don't call myself an entrepreneur at all. I'm an adult PE teacher, but we take physical education and physical training to another level when we come to performance. So we look at everything in a holistic sort of standpoint. And I don't use holistic as a weird rub your ears and rub your feet in gypsy fucking van horse manure like a fucking humbird, whatever you want to call yourself. We come at it from a real practical sort of setting. So we've got a performance nutritionist. We've got an online physio. We've literally got a performance nutritionist. We've got like an ERI, if you want to call it that, online, remote. We've got a female health coach, female performance coach. We've got your classic CPN. Remember your CPNs you used to have when your head's tapped? I've had a few of those fucking meetings before. But we've got a psychotherapist in the team, James Elliott. And the whole point about the team was to cover off all of the ecosystem that we needed when it came to health and performance. And I've had so much in my life with imposter syndrome, mate, all the fucking time. Because you see some of these incredible, incredible coaches in the game that seem incredible. They've got this huge following. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to fucking do it. I was doing loads of in-person coaching, come from an Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting background. I got massively into strength and conditioning well over 12, 15 years ago now. And just started, again, ultra endurance events, power events, speed, athletics, competed at high level. I was like, I know we've got something here. And the Catalyst Project was born from wanting to build people that I wanted to build like me. Somebody who had basically didn't have any limits, fitness without limits. I'm not saying I've not got limits because I fucking have. But if you put something in my hand or if you ask me to go and do something, you'd be rest assured I can do the thing that I need to do. Whether it be run, throw, carry, lift, endure, whatever it is, whatever sport or event or task is in front of me, I wanted to bring that mantra into the everyday athlete, like really create an everyday athlete, not this hybrid athlete, which is, oh, well done, you can pick up some heavy weight, you can run far. That's not what hybrid is. Hybrid to me is adapting to any demand that's in front of you, allowing your body to recover as quickly as you fucking possibly can, and then repeating a completely different demand. That's what that means to me. So we turned that and we brought the Catalyst Project to sort of life. And it's just evolved to where it is today, mate. And we do a lot of our work is remote online. We're working with over 80 people online at the moment across the world. I've got guys that are Australian divers. I've got a couple of Danish Special Forces guys. We've got guys in the States. I've got a 62-year-old woman who's absolutely fucking dominating life and going through menopause, but killing it, all the way through to people that work in hospitality or veterans all over the world, mate. And it's not about creating an avatar or a niche that we speak to. It's working with anybody that just wants to live life without limits and everybody that wants to become, as we call it, unfuckable with and a bit of an athletic weapon. That's what we want. So
mate, I think it's brilliant. I think you're right. There's so many like online, like influence level fitness coaches who do stuff and have good social media presence, and some of the stuff they talk about, you don't know whether it's research, you don't know what it is, but they seem to get followers. One of the things I love about your account on Instagram is, first of all, the way you talk about things is very, very simple. Do you know what I mean? It's like really, really simple. It's a very like cut through the bullshit approach. So even people who like Paul, myself, who think we've got an understanding of how things work, it's like, oh, right, okay, cool. That's something I didn't know about that. And like, it's stripping back the bullshit. And I think that like hard, like raw truth approach to things is needed. Do you know what I mean? Because there's information so easily accessible now, and you could get lost in all kinds of shit thinking the best things to do are X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? Like regular ice baths or regular not.
It doesn't relate, mate. Every communication trait I've picked up is from my old boy. He used to come over into a smoking area, and the first thing you do is open up a packet of 20 fucking fags. As you do, you remember the film that used to be around a 20 packet, and you remember you get the 200 sleeves, you'd be like, €20, fucking right, son. I remember taking 800 of those back over the border in fucking Germany, thinking, I'm going to sell these down the pub and make 7
and buy a car.
I'm laughing. I'm taking whiskey. I'm taking it all. But he used to come over to the smoking area, open up a packet of 20 fags, and he'd give everybody in the smoking area a fag. But he would sit down and he'd listen. He'd speak to people, and he'd speak to them on their level. And that's kind of something that I've really tried to take into everything that I do. I'll think science, but I'll speak fucking client. There's no point in me regurgitating strength. And this is the problem in the fitness space nowadays. There are so many people you're finding online that are not the same person in face-to-face reality. The person you're getting right in front of you now, the gobshite, little bit extroverted out there that's exactly the type of person I am in real life, because I'm authentic to who I believe I should be and who I value. You stick me in front of the commanding officer, You stick me in front of the adjutant, it doesn't fucking matter. I'll tell you as a CO, hey, sir, you're fucking shit there. You need to sort your fucking crap out. And they'll literally get belt fed as anybody else would, because that's how it should be. But in exactly the same vein in social media, people don't buy into that bullshit, mate. They buy into people that are relatable. And the one thing I've always promised myself online is I will never, ever change. I'll never, ever be somebody that I'm not. Yes, I've got a degree I've got a bachelor's in sport and exercise science. I've got qualifications in strength and conditioning, powerlifting, Olympic lifting. Yeah, all right. But that doesn't mean I need to swallow a Wikipedia spoon of PE and start delivering it like a twat online. It means I can sit there and actually speak to people in a way that they might be able to understand, digest things, because there's so much information out there. You could go out online now, find anything you need to change your health, your body, your mind, everything. The only thing that stops you from doing it is holding yourself accountable to somebody and finding somebody who's empathetic enough that fucking gets what you do. That's the problem. They're the biggest lessons in coaching is be a fucking decent human being. Don't be a dick. Make it relatable to them. Hold somebody to account. It's such an easy thing.
Mate, I think the other thing is it's like that we'll all relate to is we all work full time. We've all got kids. And then the expectation to be fit and train 5 times a week and eat this and eat meal prep, all of this thing. I get a little bit lost in it because I'm like, I'm not meal prepping. And I'm not meal prepping because I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and my wife works shifts. So it just doesn't work for me. And it's like, I'm not going to do this. You should train first thing in the morning. Everyone has the same amount of hours in a day. It's like, that doesn't work for me because my kids get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I can't just go for a run because my wife's not here. She's on shift. So it's having that, for me, the accountability thing and coaches is, we talk about meeting people where they are, is like having that understanding that actually there isn't the same amount of hours in a day. No. There just isn't. If you're working shifts, if you've got a young family, if you're working away from home, whatever. And I think it's having that, the accountability is important. And I think that's certainly what you do. And there's a few other really good coaches out there who understand that. And I think that's like that pivotal.
It's massive. But all of the team are like that as well. You've had Adam's. I helped Adam build his business to where it is today with integrated nutrition, which was Battle Forge Nutrition before. And he's one of my closest mates, and I get to work with my fucking mates that are all on that same page. Like, let's just meet these people where they are. Where are they? What can we help with? Mate, I've got veterans that have come to me with fucking PTSD through the yin yang, mate. Like they can't stand social environments. You stick them in a bigger room with more than 30 people in. They start having panic and anxiety attacks. But the problem is we need to give them the tools and resources that are accessible in that moment to help them overcome that bullshit and help them overcome this trauma that's going on in their mind, help them overcome this ambient anxiety that's crippling them from hitting the gym or doing whatever they need to do. Because there are so many veterans that will walk into a gym, they're like, fuck this, I'm leaving. That's why they build home gyms, or they'll do something in the garage to like, it's my own space. Fuck people. I don't want to be around people, which I get. So the one thing that we've tried to do is not just meet people where they are, but bring them into, we've created a cult-like community. And if you can create a cult-like community that's like a brotherhood, it's basically like being in the fucking army. And that's why we attract veterans and service personnel, because they're like, fucking hell, I've got something that I can actually dig my teeth into and it's got a little bit of meaning. People fall off the tracks. Like, people struggle with meal prepping or whatever it might be. Why? Because some shitty snot-nosed PE teacher or PT coach has gone to you, hey, mate, you need to eat your chicken, rice and vegetables here. You need to have porridge in the morning, eat this, protein, that. And you're like, mate, screw the fucking nut. I'm a 40-year-old bloke. I've got 2 kids. Mate, fitness just needs to be part of, and exercise needs to be part of my life. It doesn't need to take over my life. And that's the problem that we've got in the industry, is that so many people are like that. And I'll just try and derail that noise, pull people off that rail and stick them on our rail so they understand it a little bit better. It's fucking easy to do.
Mate, you mentioned something, and I think it's mega. I love talking to people who are passionate about what they do. But you mentioned something earlier on, that you've built a team. Like, it seems to me that you've built a team really early. And I think we've had Adam on the podcast, mate, with integrated nutrition. He's fascinating. He's another guy who's passionate about his craft, mate. And it's like, but you having that support network to show that you're not a one-man band and to know you can. I think that's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of what we wanted to do. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to stand out from a marketplace that's noisy. What makes me and not even me, what makes the Catalyst Project, the team, and what I have to offer, just people look at and go, fucking wow, I want to be in that. And all I do, mate, is I get to work with all of my mates. That's it. I get to work in an environment with all my mates that are brainstorming. I've Josh in the team, who's a mate of mine, PT core. Kelly, who's a very close friend of mine. She's been in the PT world for like 20 years as a female performance coach. James, really close mate of mine, psychotherapist. Gaz, PT core, really close mate of mine. Dr. Ash Cox, good mate of mine, ex-PT core. It's all people that I want to be surrounded by. Adam, one of my closest friends. Like, why would, like, it made sense. And I think if you're a good human being and you care and you're passionate about what you do, it's really easy to find people that can gel that team together. And we just wanted to find a way I wanted to find a way that I could make it just stand out from everybody else, mate. Because we don't just do sets, reps, frequency and intensity in the gym. And if that's what you think exercise is, like, good for you. I get to know, and we get to know as a team, the human being that's on the other end. Like, everything down to what type of character are they? Are they ambivalent? Are they introverted? How do they see themselves? Where's their confidence at? Do they have an identity that they chase? What's the behaviors that they believe about themselves to be true? We'll go that layers deep in psychology. And I've gone and done cognitive behavioral work with Dr. Gary Mendoza, and I've got accreditations in all of that shit, but none of that textbook stuff matters. What matters is just being a good fucking person and actually listening to the human being that's on the other end. So that comes across in the content. It comes across in the team. Every single person that's in our business and in the Catalyst Project is exactly the same. They all care emphatically about the person that's on the other end. Do you know how hard that is to find these days when somebody's committed to somebody else rather than themselves? It's fucking rare, mate. So rare.
Dean, we're talking about this building of this team, and you're building of the Catalyst Project. So, and obviously to get to where you are now, there's a lot of lessons that you've had to go through, and pitfalls and highs and lows. What are the overall lessons that you've learned from starting it to where you are now? And you did mention something that I want to talk about as well, which is imposter syndrome. But I'll ask that in a second. So that first up, lessons learned.
So the biggest lesson I've ever learned is people don't care how much information you know. They care how much you care. That's what they care about. That's probably the biggest bombshell that's ever been slapped in my face. I've been the person that's tried to read, recite, learn, evolve, but none of that matters, because I could go all the way back to bare basics, and everything that I've ever carried through every single part of my life, from the day that I've walked into the military as a red arse all the way through to what I'm apparently now an old fucking sweat, and my knees feel it. I care about the other person I'm speaking to. And it doesn't matter what situation, what setting I'm in. That's probably been the biggest lesson in building a business. And I think the second thing that I've probably learned very well is how non-busy we actually are in the army. Like, I actually run 3 businesses, or was running 3 businesses at the time, have a full-time job in the military. I've got 2 daughters. I've got a wife that needs attention from me, a dog. I've got a social circle. I want to train. I want to still be athletic as fuck. I want to still be powerful. I want to still be able to beat my kids in a sprint race and be able to own anybody at physical fitness in my regiment. And I do a fucking relatively okay job at that, apart from 1 or 2 that are ultra endurance whippersnappers like you, Paul. But I go back to the point in that I'll always try and be the person that I'm expecting other people to be. And I'll always do what I'm expecting others to do. If I'm asking somebody to do something, you'd be rest assured I've fucking done the work and I've done it before. Or I know what it feels like. And I feel like that's quite a missing link. Yeah. So that big lesson for me has always been like, I would never, and even today, mate, like I'd never ask the boys who work with me at the gym in camp, I'd never ask them to empty the bin if I can't empty it myself. I'd never ask them to pick up shit off the floor. You'll see, and people have seen me, like we've been in a cool down and I'm wiping mats down. I'm picking up shit off the floor, putting coffee cups in the bin. I'm not going to tell, hey, go and pick that coffee cup up. You can't go and put it in the bin. That's not who I am. I'm not that type of character.
You highlighted a really important point there, which is like knowledge and knowing, right? At what point in the starting of your business obviously you started with like textbooks, like you say, but eventually there was must have been something we turned around and go, this isn't fucking working. We need to understand that person. And do you feel that your time in the military has enabled you to make that switch from knowledge to knowing the individual?
Yeah. I think it's probably not been a defining moment, but it's probably been a series of things that have happened over time that have gone from, it's all well and good just to having the knowledge to do what you do.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother deal being able to coach. And it again goes back to, who was I surrounded by, mate? I've got my mum, who was a lifelong woman following my dad around in service, like dedicated her whole life to him and his career. I had a dad who, you ask Ian Jolly, you ask anybody who you know that's heard of Ian Hammond, they will turn around and go, what a fucking bloke. What an incredible human being. So actually, even from the early days of me being in the army, the person that was modeling the behaviors of what I expected of a leader and what I expect of somebody who was a good human being were being modeled, and I was modeling them back. So even as a fucking junior trooper, all the way through a Lance Jack, being in the gym, going up to Harrogate as an instructor, like, it's all about modeling the behaviors, the attitude, and the identities of the person that you're asking people to be. If I'm not doing the things, like, I'm not a serious person, but I can be when it's necessary and it's needed. And I'll be a chameleon in an environment. I'll adapt to whatever environment we're in. But I'm not going to go into a command officer's room and go, fucking this, fucking that. I'm not going to be that person, because I'm not modeling the behaviors that are expected of me in that moment. Yeah. But in the right environments, in the right situation, with the right context, modeling those behaviors is so fucking important. But it's not been a defining moment that's allowed that to happen for me, because it's just been that I've been surrounded by unbelievable people, and we all stand on the shoulders of giants, whether we like it or not. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. I'm here today, and I'm seen as in the way I'm seen because I've got somebody that showed me how to do it. My dad, my mum, the people I've been around, the boys that I've worked with, the SSMs I've had. I am a living, eating, breathing example of the people I've had before me. And I hope that my kids get to stand on the shoulders of giants. And that's what my why is. My why is, right, I want my kids to be stood on the shoulders of giants. I want people to go, you're Dean and Rachel's kids. I can see it. Wow. That's what I expect, and that's what I want to see. That's why I am the way I am with my children as well, right?
Mate, it's a fascinating approach, right? And it's like what Paul mentioned about knowledge and knowing, and about, you've touched on it earlier on about, like, you should not being a dick. That's like, it's a throwaway comment to not be a dick. But veterans succeed outside of the military because of that. And I'll tell you why. Civvies who have been in a role for 20 years, they know significantly more in that industry than their military counterpart who may have recently joined. But they can't achieve the same thing. So they're not getting the same traction, and they're not having the same impact. But veterans go into businesses, and because they've got this approach where they can get on with people, they've got this can-do attitude, they've got this ability to pivot, ability to flex, ability to learn new stuff really quickly. It shows how successful they can be in business versus their civilian counterpart who's been doing that since they left school. And I think that having the knowledge but the not being a dick bit is huge. Do you know what I mean?
Anybody serving right now any veteran, any serving personnel, I truly believe, has the ability to build a business and make it be incredible. You're seeing it more and more these days. And I'm fascinated by it, blokes. And I'm like, lads, start something, start a business. We've got a online.
Beautiful segue there, Dean.
Say again.
Beautiful segue to my next question.
Go for it. I'll let you ask it. Hit me.
Which is, if you had a piece of advice, to someone that is getting out of the military, or even still in the military and wants to build their own business, what is it, and how do they get over that? Because we all have it, still have it today. That imposter syndrome.
Mate, we're institutionalized and indoctrinated to believe that we can't break the ceiling that's above us. I'll say it again. We're institutionalized and indoctrinated to believe that we can't break the ceiling that's above us. And I was just that one fucking little arsehole that refused to accept that the ceiling was there. And I just bashed my head through it, popped over, and I was like, oh my God, there's this whole world out here. And it's that famous saying, right? That your resettlement starts the minute you join the army. I have been that cheeky bastard that's done every single possible course and dripped the army for everything it's worth. From learning credits to getting them to pay for me to go through university and everything else in between. All of it. Because I was a selfish prick, and I'm like, I want all of that because I want to do what I do outside in the civilian world like I'm doing right now for the rest of my life. I want to keep doing this. I want to build a huge empire. So if anybody's serving, my one piece of advice to anybody is like, if you want to become financially free, and I hate that fucking word, if you want to become wealthy to some degree, there is opportunity out there, whether it's in property, whether it's in crypto, whether it's in stocks and shares, whether it's in merchandise, service, apparel, whatever, coaching, consultant work, whatever it is. If you're a WO2 or WO1, you have leadership qualities and team building qualities and traits that no other civilian person with the same amount of time in this industry has. You have got 25 years of living, eating, breathing leadership and development qualities that you can put into a consulting package and sell. You've got the fucking time to do it. I was just one of those guys that thought, do you know what? There's definitely more out there. There's opportunity out there. And that kind of brings me to that point of the army's not hard. If I can run a business with, and go back before, like when it was in the busiest time of my life, I had like 50, 60 clients. Even then, if I can run a business with a wife, 2 kids, a social circle, friends, my own training, and still deliver an outstanding product, mate, I'll sit until 11 o'clock midnight in this office some weeknights, and I'll just be back and forth with people. I take calls at 11, 12 o'clock here, nighttime, for clients over in Australia, because I care about what I do. So my advice would be, find something you absolutely fucking love and what you're so good at. The creative industry is completely changed. The coaching industry is completely changed. If that now more than ever, we're more connected to everybody in the world, but we're so disconnected from the people that we serve. That's the issue, because everybody's trying to sell, but there's no passion. It's money and fame and clout. That's what people want. I want nothing. I don't want any of that. I just want my wife and my children. I want both of my kids to go through university. I want to buy their first car, and I never want them to have to worry about being financially in a difficult position. That's my why. So every time I show up and I'm speaking to clients, or I'm DM, or I'm working here, or I'm doing marketing and outreach, it's because I want to make sure that I've got food on the table and I can take both of my kids over to the States. And do you know what? We can fucking fly first class. Do you know how unbelievably satisfying that is when you go into the plane and you turn left? Mate, and that's what I felt like, an imposter sat in now. I was like, what's this gobshite fucking pads brat kid doing in first class with his wife and his kids? But actually you sit back and go, no, I took a chance. I built an opportunity for myself. And military blokes are fucking terrible at believing that they can break that ceiling and go beyond, because they're institutionalized and indoctrinated to believe, oh, Lance Corporal, that's what you're worth. Here's some words. There's your S-jar, B+ Dev. Nice one, sunshine. We'll give you a rank slide next year. Unlucky. That's what it's like. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care about making W2. I don't give a fuck about W1. I don't give a fuck about commissioning the British Army. I don't care about any of that, because I'm not a rank-seeking missile. I love my job because I get to take adult PE for the unwilling and the unmotivated sometimes, and they show up, and I get to work around a group of PTIs that fucking love what they do. It's brilliant. I get a free gym every day. Why the fuck would I want to go and sit in an office and manage 40 blokes and write S-jars about people, which are all going to be carbon copy and paste, so nobody ever says it, because they've got their top third, their middle third, and their bottom third style S-jars. That's what people do. I don't want to fucking do that, because it goes against my morals and my values. I don't care about being a WSU. All I want to be is, I want to be somebody that left a place in an even better place than it was before, or I made an impact, or I built relationships with people, or I don't know, it's hard to put into words, mate, but so many serving personnel, their ceilings are here, and it's because they've been around people that have constantly told them that their ceilings are there. I'm telling you, it's not. It's fucking not. I've got boys in our regiment that are unbelievable gamers, and I'm like, go on Stitch or Stream Deck or Twitch or whatever the fuck it's called, show people how to play that game and get paid for it. There's opportunity out there.
I think you're right, mate. I think it's mad in this day and age. You touched on it there, like with social media, the reach you can have with YouTube, with the ability to podcast, the ability to do these things, the ability to knowledge share. I think it's quality, and I think social media is a really important one because in the military, traditionally, we well, not everybody, but people aren't a big fan of social media. They're not a big fan of celebrating their own success. They're not a big fan of patting themselves on the back. No. Yet, in this day and age, you kind of need to. Or you need to have a social media.
I'm not either, though, Matt. To be brutal, I'd like to think I'm quite a humble person. I don't like somebody says something nice about me. I'm like, yeah, nice one, dickhead. Whatever. I don't really like. It's not about that. It's not. And I think you're right. I think they do. They struggle to pat themselves on the back because then they'll be seen as egotistical or narcissistic or shut the fuck up, mate. You ain't done anything.
I get you, mate. But I was more talking about like the quality of what you offer. Like your social media is very good, mate. You get good traction. You get lots of the people who are doing well in business have good social media. Whereas traditionally people are like, I don't want to, I'm a bit embarrassed. I don't want to put my face out there. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? I think you have to embrace it. Like you said earlier on, if you've got a knowledge and a passion for something, with minimal investment, you can set up a business. You can set up a brand. You can set up a service. Using, I think it's madness, mate. And even 10 years ago, that wasn't a thing that was this easy.
No,
it's madness.
It's easier. It's now easier more than ever to set up a business. And I don't want to say easy because you still have to put the work in. Yeah. Like, be under no illusion. Some weeks I'll work 110 hours, and I'm absolutely fucked when I get to Sunday afternoon. And my wife's like, "Do you want to do anything?" I'm like, "No, I just want to sit on the couch in my pants and watch Netflix. I'm done. I'm so tired." It's hard. But if you care about it and you want it enough, and it sounds so wanky and like cliche to say, but if you've got a strong enough why, it makes it so much easier to stay the course. And I've got quite a myopic, tunnel visioned approach to what I want out of life. I've got my computer desktop. It's got everything I want out of life. It's got a beautiful American, massive 4-bedroom house, acre of land. I've got pictures of my kids fishing. We've got a lake house. We've got a boat there. I've got pictures about what I want in my life. And if your opinion of me is that he's a bit of a fucking lizard, isn't he? Nice one, dickhead. Because it's just it's your opinion of somebody. Yeah. Fuck all about me. You don't know where I've been. You don't know what I've done. You don't know the shit I've been through to get here. And quite frankly, I don't care if you know or you don't know, because you're not. And it goes back to my favorite ever thing that I've picked, 5 Fs. If you're not fucking me, if you're not financing me, if you're not my friends or my family, then fuck you, quite simply. Because if you don't fit any of those 5 Fs, quite frankly, I don't give a shit, mate. And there's so many people that will carry an opinion on stuff that I've put online. I've had so much backlash in the PT core for putting my face online and trying to make fitness and training relatable, because they're not going to read a fucking doctrine document that's 40 pages long with some shit skeletal drawings on there. You've got to speak to the audience that are coming through. I've got blokes that now have stopped drinking 6 cans of Monster a day and buying in every fucking morning because they followed a post and gone, do you know what, Dean? That fucking made loads of sense. And I'm like, good. That's good to hear, man. And look, you've lost 10 kilos. You're running faster. You're not a remedial PT anymore. You're doing amazing, bro. Well done. Good on you. Like, and I'm not. And again, to go back to the point about the PT core backlash stuff, mate. Some people in the PT core absolutely love what I've done. Some people from my background, the QRH, my regiment, they've absolutely loved what I've done. Some people hate it. Great. If you hate it, you're never going to fucking buy from me anyway. If you absolutely loathe it, you're never going to buy from me anyway. But it's really funny because people that have hated on it and people that have gone, like, spoke bad about me behind my back, they're the type of people that will come to me asking me for advice. Or how did you do this with your business? I'm like, and it's quite possibly the biggest compliment is when you know somebody's kind of shat and spoke bad about you, which I don't really get irate about. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, mate. I'm happy to do whatever. But look, you're not fucking me. You're not financing me. You're not really my friends or my family. So yeah, fuck you, mate. Quite frankly. It's just an easy way to live.
I love that. Final thing, mate. Final thing for the podcast, right? What is next? What is next, mate? What's the plan? What's the vision for the business?
I'm quite reactive. So I'm going to see out my time in the military, get my pension. and I'm going to continue growing the Catalyst project to what it is. And like I said, I just have an online coaching business, but when I leave the military, I will be a bigger entrepreneur in the sense that we're hoping to build a performance center, which has got everything in there. We're looking to build a bit of a veterans, my whole life's been around the military, but looking to build like a veterans retreat within that as well. So they can come for a week and they get access to a psychotherapist. They get some fitness, some training, like living in the military, really. They get to go out and do command tasks and build some team cohesiveness, build a community. Like that's the dream for me, is to build an all singing, all dancing performance center that at the very heart of it is about giving back to people that have given everything and they just get fucking left to the wayside. That's kind of my passion. That's my root cause to what I want to do. But yeah, who knows where life will take me, mate. I'm one of those people that's quite reactive. If it happens, it happens. We want to go to the States and live there. My wife's American. We'd like to go back to Michigan and live out there. We've been eyeing up places for a really long time. Is that possible? Very, very possible. But who knows? We've got 2 ideas and 2 camps to camp in. We'll see what happens when I leave the military and see what card I'm dealt. But the Catalyst project won't stop. It's going to keep growing, and I hope it keeps growing. I've had lots of success with it, and probably because of people like you that want to fucking talk to me, or people outside that want to listen to it. So long may it continue.
Mate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, mate. It has been fascinating. It's the same with loads of the guests. The passion that comes through when you're talking about this is like a step change. You know what I mean? It's like normal conversation, like pure passion in what you do. And that, I've got no doubt it's going to take you to where you want to go, mate. And we can't wait to follow it. And now, obviously, you've been on the biggest veteran-owned business podcast that's run across Wales and Gloucestershire. Specifically, it's a small demographic, but...
Listen, Forces Radio, we're coming for you. Let's get it out there.
Mate, listen, thank you so much, Dean. Have a great day, mate. And can't wait to release the episode.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.